The Marginally Offside podcast. We're down to two again. Shamant is busy somewhere else again. Yeah. So myself, Muskan, I'm Siddhant is there with me. Hi Siddhant, how are you?
Hey man, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? I'm good. I'm good. So we're going to start with some FA Cup discussion. And FA Cup round three fixtures took place in last weekend. One of the games were on Monday as well, and some of the replays will be played next week midweek. So what do you think, Siddhant, on a general perspective?
It was a fun weekend, dude. Fun weekend for
Yeah,
once. No Premier League football after
yeah,
the
yeah,
insane December fixture list. But yeah, it was nice. Nice break. Nice to see the romantic FA Cup, and it was fun. A couple
yeah,
of really interesting fixtures.
yeah.
But Villa lost to Fulham, shockingly.
Shocking, yeah.
I haven't really watched the Championship too much, so Fulham, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think for Fulham, I think it's the style of play is good. I think, but they're still defensively slightly susceptible, which was the issue last season in the Premier League as well, which was quite glaring. But still in the Championship, they're in and around the playoff spots. I think they're in the playoff spot. They're still behind the top two. So I back them to a challenge for the playoffs, but I still don't think they are consistent enough. I think they have the announced to go on till the end of the season and get the promotion. I still
Okay.
back the likes of other teams like Brentford and Forest to go ahead of them. But yeah, the two Fulham goals were outstanding. Harry Arter and knockout the goals
Yeah,
against
yeah.
Aston Villa were very, very good. And yeah, so Aston Villa. We'll talk Aston Villa in the league about their League Cup performance as well. But I think going out to the FA Cup might be blessing in disguise for them. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. About Aston
Massive
Villa.
blessing to
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
They were not the only upset though. Norwich nearly collapsed against Preston, but eventually managed to sail through with a 4-2 win.
yeah.
United drew against Wolves.
I think
No
that was quite
surprise there.
dull. That was quite
Yeah.
dull. Yeah,
I believe
yeah,
United had no shots on target.
yeah. Those
Yeah.
shots on target. Yeah,
A couple of shots flew well off target. Rashford did something. But
yeah,
yeah, nothing for United.
yeah,
City comfortably won, blah blah blah. Chelsea won again against Nottingham Forest.
yeah.
What
Uh,
Sheffield won against Clyde, I believe. Yeah.
yeah. Bournemouth won,
Yeah. Bournemouth won.
and Liverpool B defeated Everton A. That's a good story. That was a good story for the next two
Yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah.
race. And it has created some problem in the Everton camp as well. I think
Not
because
a problem.
apparently the fans came to the Everton
Yeah.
training ground and had a chat, had quite an aggressive chat with the Everton director Marcel Brands.
He was
Yeah,
not their target though. If
yeah,
reports and all the rumors were to believe, they wanted to talk with the players.
yeah,
And one guy actually spoke to Fabian Delph on Instagram.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not just one
Uh,
guy. I believe it was two or three. Not sure
yeah, but I
exactly how
think
many.
he carried on a conversation with one of them,
Yeah.
as you mentioned.
And it
Yeah,
was very aggressive. My
yeah,
God. Delph, okay, Delph had to reply to them. He couldn't ignore them. But yeah,
yeah,
it was not good. Then what? Arsenal somehow managed to beat a Leeds
yeah,
United side who looked very spirited and
yeah,
looked like a Premier League team.
yeah.
They cannot bottle this. 9 points off the third place side. Only West Brom are level with them. This is their thing to lose, but they've done
Yeah,
it before, haven't they?
yeah. They self-destruct. You just can't
Yeah.
say anything about them. Yeah, about Arsenal. I think Arsenal showed good character. I think an old Arsenal. I mean, not the 2010s Arsenal, but the Arsenal under Emery would have folded. I think
Yeah.
the spirit shown in the second half was indicative of what Arteta is trying to do in the last 2 to 3 weeks
Yeah.
since his arrival, and which is a good sign because even though they were on the course, they still managed to keep a clean sheet, which is now 2 clean sheets in 2 games, which is something of a rarity at Arsenal.
Yeah.
So that's a good positive to carry on ahead of the ahead of the weekend's
And if
games.
what Laka said and all the other players, if you have to believe what they said, then Arteta fired them during the 15-minute halftime break, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
surprising because no manager has done that. This is not nothing against Emery or Wenger, but they haven't really gone after the players,
yeah.
and that is something that needs to be done. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was good
I
to see
think
that,
I
and
think
the
you're right
performance
about
changed.
you're right about the thing Lacazette said, and
Yeah,
I think the Arsenal, if you I correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Arsenal squad is something like that. They need somebody of an aggressive natured manager. I
yeah,
think in their
yes,
squad.
yeah,
I think Arsene Wenger was good for the squad in the early 2000s or the around 2000 till 2010 to 2011. I think post that, Arsene Wenger was well, he was anyway a great manager, one of the greatest managers in world football. But I think his ability to convey thoughts is more of a professor like conveying of thoughts. So I think
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
players needed something else.
Yeah.
I think Arteta is trying to bring that, as you mentioned. Yeah,
Plus Arteta will help teach the young players. For
yeah.
all of Wenger's abilities and positives on everything he did for the club, one of his problems was he believed in his players too much. So
Hmm.
he didn't give them too much of instruction on the field, which is
Yeah,
why a lot of young players suffered,
yeah,
especially in the latter part of his Arsenal career.
yeah,
So yeah, that has clearly changed under Arteta. Reece Nelson, Joe Willock easily made it nice. Even Xhaka, who's not no young chicken but still looks really really good. Not
yeah,
really really good, good enough.
yeah,
And maybe someone who the club can build a base around. So yeah, that's massive
yeah,
for the club.
yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
And
But moving on,
yeah.
yeah, FA Cup
Moving on,
replays.
the FA Cup replays. I think there was a Talksport breakfast show in which one of their pundits, so-called pundits, said that FA Cup replays. I think it was Jim White. Yeah, I think he said
Yeah,
that FA Cup replays should be scrapped off even from the third, fourth, and fifth rounds. As we all know, in this season, the replays are there till the fifth round, and from
yeah,
the
yeah.
sixth round, they only shootout games. So, what do you think about it? I disagree with him. Yeah.
I wholeheartedly disagree. Well, it's understandable. Fixture congestion. It's coming after heavy December and maybe even a congested November with for the Europa League and Champions League teams. But the Premier League needs to realize that there are other clubs in the world. They're not,
Yeah,
especially in England, they're not the only division playing. And for the Championship, the League One, the League Two, even the National League team, non-league team, sorry, it's a
yeah,
massive, massive thing. Even
hmm
75,000 for them is it's like millions for them. No
yeah, yeah,
offense.
yeah, yeah,
It's massive.
yeah,
I believe Lincoln City, they've built a new ground. They built a new training pitch, if I'm not mistaken, out of
yeah,
just gate, the money that they earn from a stadium, and that was an away game, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah,
again.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
it's massive for teams like Blackpool, Rochdale,
yeah,
Tranmere Rovers,
yeah.
even
Rochdale going away to Newcastle. Yeah,
exactly, even what Middlesbrough, even they're playing at Tottenham's new
yeah.
stadium.
New
So
stadium.
if nothing else, that 30 odd percent, whatever they get, will be massive for their
Yeah,
transfer budget, for their debt, whatever they need to change up.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, and not having a replay is nonsensical.
yeah,
Plus, it gives a non-league side a much better chance progressing further, and
yeah.
isn't that always good?
Yeah, so it's always good. Yes, I think that's what FA Cup is about. If you're
Exactly.
trying to, because I think the relevance of Carabao Cup in the last 3 to 4 years has gone down. I
Yeah,
think even the smaller clubs are not taking it seriously, but I think the smaller clubs do take FA Cup quite seriously
yeah,
at most times. So you can't really neglect. You can't really change these uh, these uh, these rules that have been there, have been put into place in the past century, the past decade, or
yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
time was. So it's quite good. Um, Moving on to the League Cup, I think the League Cup semi-finals first leg also took place this midweek on
Yeah,
Tuesday and Wednesday, and the Tuesday game was more of a training session for Man City. What do you think about it?
Oof. It was. I covered the game, both the
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
United City and the Villa Leicester one.
Yeah. Hmm.
The second one was by far the more competitive game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it was a Manchester derby in name only. Pep
Yeah.
Guardiola, for all his praise for Solskjaer's teams and their running, their counter-attacking style, he out he outdid them. There was
Yeah.
nothing Solskjaer could do.
Yeah.
The first shocking move was he played both Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, both fit by the way, on the
Yeah.
bench. No
Yeah.
striker.
No
That
striker.
means City effectively had an extra midfielder. It
Yeah.
helped them overload United, and United simply couldn't cope with that. Fred
Mm-hmm.
and Andreas Pereira looked lost.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard couldn't do anything, especially Jesse Lingard. He was knocked off for Matic, who was rather impressive in the second half. But then again, that's only because City stepped off. City could have had 5, 6 even. And Sterling's curse continues against United again. I believe it's
Yeah.
18 or 19 games now without a goal for him.
Without a goal. Yeah.
And it's shocking. It's simply stunning. And he missed two. I think the third one was a little tough, but two really good chances.
Yeah.
And Bernardo
Absolutely.
Silva's strike, my God, that was brilliant. Oof.
Yeah, brilliant. That was
Cut
brilliant.
in and yeah. Oof.
He's quite good. I think if you believe what De Bruyne said after the game, that they took only 15 minutes to discuss that
It
new
was
new
harsh.
formation, and they
Yeah,
deployed that to perfection for at least 55 to 60 minutes. It's brilliant, and it also shows that Pep is ready to change it up a little bit. I think
yeah,
Pep sometimes this season has been like trying to change a lot
yeah.
at times, playing certain players in different positions and trying to fit in. But I think for for this game, the change worked perfectly, and I think this is one option he has because the likes of players he has at the moment, the likes of players like the types of players like Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, even Sterling. So those are the players who can make runs in the box. So he will
Yeah.
always have bodies in the box, irrespective of whether he has a striker on the pitch or not. So he can do that overloading thing midfield and still have bodies in the box. So that's a good
Exactly.
thinking. That's
Yeah.
a good change he did. And what about Leicester versus Aston Villa? I think Aston Villa should be kicking themselves for giving
Yeah.
away a goal
Villa
at the
should
end.
really be kicking themselves because Leicester looked lost at times. Don't get me wrong, this Leicester side has been brilliant all season.
Yeah.
And with Madison, Tielemans, Dennis Pryor on the field, they were struggling to break that Villa side down, which is not something too many teams have said this season. Villa
Yeah,
have been,
yeah,
they haven't been really, really bad defensively, but they've been pretty bad.
yeah,
And for all the hype surrounding Tyrone Mings last season, he proved last night why people called him the Championship's Van Dijk. There
yeah,
was nothing Leicester could do to get past him. You throw crosses in the ball, into the box, the man will head it out. Throw through ball, the man knock, intercept and set off a Villa counter attack.
yeah,
They couldn't break him down. He was everywhere, and it really should have been a Villa win. Leicester
yeah.
struggled defense. They didn't have too much to do defensively, but what
Mhm.
little they did, Villa looked clinical. And they played again much like City without a striker, but they weren't City and they really do need a striker, may which which with the January window open will make a massive difference for them. So yeah, they need to
Yeah,
dip into the transfer market. And Leicester, they need James Maddison and everyone ticking again because Jamie Vardy looked really. He struggled. He had a couple of good chances, but it wasn't Jamie Vardy at his best. What do you think, Visco?
yeah. So I think I still not I still was not able to understand that into tweak information Rogers did bringing in three centre backs. I think if you're trying to play a team who is expected to sit deep against you, I don't think three centre backs really. I don't think the three centre backs were really needed in that game. But and I think you're right about Jamie Vardy and Madison. I think. And you're right about Tyron Mings as well. I think he looks a good player. I think
Yeah,
Tyron Mings missed the January congested fixture period, and Villa
yeah, yeah,
lost
yeah, yeah.
almost every game in that. So the amount of difference, the types of difference he can make because he can pass the ball as well.
Exactly.
There's some defenders who will just defend and just hoof the ball up, and okay, the pressure comes
Yeah,
back again. He's one of those defenders who's calm on the ball even in pressure situations, so he can instigate counter attacks as you mentioned now. So that's a good thing about Darren Mings. And yeah, I think Villa. I think I was disappointed because I was enjoying this Villa performance. They were able to soak up this pressure, even the Leicester
exactly.
pressure
And then
weren't
break
that. Yeah,
really well on the counter. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And as you said, sorry to interrupt, but as you
yeah.
said,
No problem. Yeah,
I see the point in switching to a three at the back because Wilfred Ndidi, I believe, is out for at least the next 2 to 3 months, maybe even
yeah,
longer.
yeah.
I'm not sure the exact timeline. And it leaves Villa without one of the, sorry, not Villa, leaves Leicester
Leicester.
without a key midfielder in key defensive midfielder. So
Yeah,
to make up for that, it actually makes sense going to the three at the back. But I don't see Christian Fuchs playing long term as a centre back, even though he looked solid. But then again, he wasn't threatened by much. And
yeah,
Leicester, if they want to stay in the top four, they will be threatened by a lot. And playing Fuchs as a left-sided defender looks dangerous at times.
yeah. Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
that's the thing. So, yep, I think we've covered that. I think, yeah, you touched about the Aston Villa striker situation, which they need to,
yeah,
because
yeah,
especially after the injury to Wesley, and he's out for the season as well, along with Tom Heaton, their
yeah, yeah.
goalkeeper. So I think they need to step into this transfer market and buy a striker. So let's discuss a couple of options then. And I think they have been linked with Cenk Tosun. What do you
Yeah.
think? Cenk Tosun still struggling in the Premier
Oh,
League so far?
I actually liked Tosun. When he
Yeah,
joined Everton, he had a brilliant start under Allardyce, and then he struggled. He under a different new manager, he couldn't really get up to the mark. And plus, had a different. Marco Silva's kind of striker was not Cenk Tosun, was
yeah,
anyone but Cenk Tosun. which affected his confidence, affected his form, and
Hmm.
it led to a domino effect for him. It's why even a loan move, a 6-month loan move to Villa, will do a massive bit of good. Because he, in many ways, he's not exactly what Wesley is, but having played in the Premier League for almost 2 years now, I believe,
Yeah, yeah.
it's his experience plus the fact that he's a similar kind of striker to Wesley. It'll make a massive difference to Villa, and it'll
Hmm.
also help Dean Smith bring in a seamless transition, at
Hmm.
least a not so bumpy transition compared to if they bring in, say, Christoph Piatek, who I do not see
Hmm.
moving to Villa,
Yeah.
or Michy Batshuayi, who's already rejected the move, or even
Hmm.
Giroud, who's looking to establish a place in the Euro 2020 squad, which means he'll need at least a Champions League team, or even, if not a Champions League team, then a team playing Europa League football.
Regular. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and regular, which is not what Villa can give him. So yeah, Cenk Tosun is the best option, but they do have a couple of others. I believe Ollie Watkins is on their list.
Yeah.
Rizgan, what do you think of him? I haven't really seen too much
Yeah,
of
Ali
him so far.
Watkins, I watched him while I was trying to analyze the Brentford team. I watched 5 games of him, and he
Okay,
looked quite good. The thing with Ollie Watkins is I think he's not similar to Wesley or neither Cenk Tosun. So he's more
okay,
of a more of a flexible forward who can run the channels, who can come short, who can play number 10, who can play a
okay,
support striker role.
okay,
He's a quick forward though. He on in short distances his sprint speed is quite good, so he's good. I think his hold up play is not that good.
mm-hmm,
So someone like Grealish might not really play, would not be able to play with him. But with Grealish playing on the left wing and Watkins playing up top alone, and then the others chipping in might be good. But he's a good finisher though. He has 17 goals in 26 games this season, and he has
that's
been having a good record in the last few seasons.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why Sheffield United were interested in him in the summer as well.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Watkins is basically Mope, Neil Mope,
yeah.
as in former
Yeah,
Brentford player himself,
yeah,
Mope. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Former
if you want to
Brentford.
make a direct comparison, it's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
pretty close. Yeah.
It's
Okay,
pretty
fair,
close.
fair, fair.
Yeah. So I think in terms of that, in terms of the transition, I think it will be take a little bit of time because
Naturally.
Wesley and Tosun, if Tosun comes a different type of striker,
Yeah.
and even if Giroud comes to Aston moves to Aston Villa by chance, then that is who's also very different. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
As you said, Mope, we can compare him to Mope, and the goal scoring is there. So if Aston Villa need goals, and they're confident that they are able to create chances for a striker who is ready to run the miles for them, even off the ball, who's going to chase lost causes. So he can be that striker
Yeah,
for them.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think the way where Brentford have been playing this season, they are very close to at least securing a playoff spot this season. So I think Watkins would want to be a part of that. Yeah, let's
Okay,
see.
okay.
Yeah,
But
and yeah,
yeah, as we
yeah,
said,
go on.
Wesley is a major injury, but he's not the only one. Tom Heaton is out for the season after
Yeah,
and suffering a bad knee injury, an ACL, I believe it might be. So
yeah,
that sees him at least out for 6 to 9 months, if not
yeah.
more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's massive. I mean, Neelan played really well, but I haven't seen enough of him to comment. What do you think, this guy?
Yeah,
Can
I
he
think
handle the pressure?
he has struggled. I think that for that reason they wanted somebody of good experience coming into the Premier League this season.
Okay.
Neelan is one of those guys who, if you remember Stephen Mignolet at Liverpool,
Yeah, yeah.
three very good games and one very horrendous game. So he can do that. He can do that
Okay,
to a team.
okay.
So after 4 good games, if as a goalkeeper you have a very horrendous game, it will take a lot of time for a defense to have a confidence in you.
Yeah, yeah.
So he is that kind of a goalkeeper. He will have a good game. He will have 2 to 3, 4 good games. Then one very bad game will really affect the confidence of a defense that, as you mentioned before, hasn't been really good. It has been good in patches. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that they should bring some more of experience. What do you think? And have they been linked with anybody?
They've been linked with a couple of options. One that I
Yeah.
know of is Pepe Reina.
No,
And
that's
as a
good.
former Liverpool man, why don't you just elaborate on what he can do and not do?
Yeah, I think Pepe Reina is good. I think he's still more of a old-fashioned goalkeeper. I think he's not going to be really comfortable in trying to play out from the back and continuously trying to do that. I don't think Dean Smith will really be worried or focused about that. I think he just wants experience in between the goal, in between the sticks. So I think if possible, I think Pepe Reina should come, and I think Villa should take Pepe Reina. His experience, his Premier League experience, not just his
Yeah,
footballing
exactly.
experience, and his shot saving, I think, is very good. I think he was one of the best shot savers in the Premier League in his prime time in the Premier League. So I think Aston Villa should feed off his experience, should feed off his capabilities to save 5 to 6 shots in a game, 5 to 6 good goal-bound shots in a game. So I think, I think that they should buy him. I think.
Don't you think at 37 it's a little dicey?
But as you mentioned, the Tom Heaton thing, I think Tom Heaton, I think, is out for around 6 to 7 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, probably. And so if Pepe Reina comes for a second part of the season loan, like
Okay.
if just by start of this next season you have
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Heaton back, then you can use Pepe Reina for the next 5 months and expect him to make. I think Pepe Reina is that kind of a player he will have his own impact coming into a club. So
Fair,
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense, a lot of sense. And moving forward, is there any major transfer news? I think you mentioned Christoph Piatek. I think he's been linked to Spurs recently.
Yeah, 30 million move, and it's a smart one. Although, yeah, it's a shocker by AC Milan, even though they brought in Zlatan for free from LA Galaxy. But yeah, it's a stunning thing that they actually want to sell him. They bought him a year ago. He did really well for his first 6 months, and now
Mhm.
they've decided after that he's a one-hit wonder, which, looking at his stats, isn't really the case. Piatek is, how do I put it? He's a fox in the box. The man
Yeah.
thrives. You give him the ball inside the box, give him a second or two and enough space to have a pop on goal. He'll give you a good, at least a 70% shot of a shot that
Mhm.
has 70% chance of going in. That's
Yeah.
how good he is. He does it consistently, and his shot volume is low, a lot like
Yeah.
Aubameyang in that way. But
Yeah.
when he gets the ball in a good position, he will score more often than not. And
Mhm.
that has not just happened. That has not happened in AC Milan. And for Jose Mourinho, it's exactly the kind of striker he likes. Especially
Yeah.
with Harry Kane out injured for till April. It was
Yeah.
just released earlier today. So yeah, till
Mhm.
April. So yeah, I believe it's a loan move. Although Milan are not too keen on that, and they want 30 million upfront for the striker with
Yeah.
or without an obligation to buy after the loan.
Yeah.
And that is not something Tottenham want. They want a short-term option, someone they can dip their toe into the water with, see if he's good
Mhm.
enough for the style of play, and then
Mhm.
actually make the move. I
Yeah.
believe Villa and Newcastle are also in the move, which is
Yeah.
again really, really shocking given that
Yeah.
Piontek is a Champions League. Okay, no, my bad. Piontek hasn't played European football this year, but yeah, he's a player who can play that level of football and deserves to play that level of football.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see him moving to either Villa or Newcastle. Tottenham is a genuine option, but they'll have to cut some corners and make something happen. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I think that you explained that very well. I think that the problem, I think they're panicking a bit because
Yeah,
because of Harry Kane's injuries. I think they want somebody to have they want somebody like Harry Kane, a poacher of a goal scorer
exactly.
who can finish the chances, especially the Champions League. Because I think Mourinho knows he has to do well in the Champions League. League form has been quite patchy, so he needs to concentrate on like cup runs like Champions League or FA Cup.
Yeah,
So I think he needs proper goal scorers in during that period. So let's see what happens.
yeah. And
And the
now,
other, yeah,
sorry,
go on,
now
yeah, go on.
Tottenham's decision not to buy a striker is going to really hurt them.
Yeah,
Because I believe Pochettino and Daniel Levy said at the start of the season that they have Lucas Moura and Son Heung-min who can play strikers, centre forwards, I believe, and now that's really going to hurt them. No matter how well they can do, they are not a Mourinho striker. They're not someone who will say Mourinho wants it up front, and that will hurt the team.
yeah.
So yeah,
You're
we
right.
have to wait
Yeah.
and see.
Depending on one player, I think is a problem. It was their problem under Pochettino as well. Whenever
Yeah,
Kane got injured, but their record was under Pochettino without Kane was good because Pochettino was able to play fast forwards up front and try to
exactly.
just press opponents.
Yeah,
Mourinho's style of football, as you mentioned, need a proper goal scoring type of
yeah,
striker.
yeah, yeah.
The other big transfer news, I think, I don't think it's done, but the Jetson Fernandez to West Ham thing, 18-month loan, it's
Yeah,
been set with an obligation to buy. Is it, isn't, has
yeah.
there been an obligation to buy?
There is an obligation. From what I've read in the earlier report that came out today,
Yeah.
early in the morning, it was a 33 million move,
Yeah.
33 million obligation,
Mm-hmm.
and even that is not confirmed. It has to be if Gethin plays a certain amount of percentage of games. Chelsea were also interested. Their obligation to buy was at 55 million, and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, Gethin Fernandes had to play around 50 to 60% of his games.
Yeah.
But West Ham's percentage is significantly lower, and
Mm-hmm.
in the end, it was a decision for the midfielder himself. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the move to West Ham actually makes sense because they need another midfielder.
Yeah.
Mark Noble is not getting any younger.
Yeah.
Declan Rice needs someone helping him out, and
Yeah.
Pablo Fornals and Manuel Lanzini are not box-to-box central midfielders who
Yeah.
all-round action midfielders, which is what Fernandes is. And he's a
Mm-hmm.
talent. At 20, he's a genuine talent. He struggled.
Yeah.
He's been out of favor at Benfica this season. But if he
Mm-hmm.
can get things clicking in the Premier League, it'll be a lot like the Yuri Tielemans move for Leicester.
Yeah. Yeah.
It actually will be exactly like that, although a little more cheaper and an 18-month loan. But yeah, for West Ham, it's a move well worth making. But they
Yeah.
need more additions. They need at least
Yeah.
2, 3 more players here and there. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And before concluding the transfer part, because you're the Arsenal guy, so I should ask you because there's a new manager also in place. So any transfer updates for Arsenal? Any centre back coming? Any centre midfielder
Oh,
coming?
I really wish it was, but no. Arteta said there won't be any major moves, which, as also I like to believe, is pointing towards a late January swoop,
Mm.
flurry of moves. We have been linked with basically every centre back on the planet, from Dyer to Upamecano, Boateng, Nathan Ake. Those are just the ones the world knows. There are hundreds
Mm-hmm.
of others that the club has scouted and gone about, shortlisted, and so on and so
Mm-hmm.
on. But
Mm-hmm.
if we get any one of the aforementioned three, I really hope it's not Boateng. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
loved the guy 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, but not now. He
Yeah.
looks a shadow of himself, and he's just struggling to do anything. And plus, I believe Bayern are refusing to sell him because Nicolas Sule is out for the season
Yeah.
with an ACL. So yeah, that's another problem. So yeah, Nathan Ake for 40 million or Upamecano for 60. Or we wait till the end of the season and get
Yeah.
Upamecano for even cheaper.
Yeah.
It's gone, man. Yeah.
It's gone. Yeah. It's good. It's all right. Then let's move on. Then Premier League
Yeah, yeah,
restarts tomorrow from tomorrow night. West Ham
yeah.
plays
West
Sheffield
Ham Sheffield.
United. So let's start with that game only. What
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
think? What do you think? What do you think should happen?
Oh, it's a tough,
West Ham
tough
under
game
new
for.
manager.
Yeah, West Ham may be under new managers, but this is Sheffield United season. They've been really, really good.
Yeah.
They've looked good. West Ham, yeah, they do have the new manager bounce. Let's see how long that lasts, especially with David Moyes in charge.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It dies down quickly. Yeah.
dies down very quickly as Tottenham know. But yeah,
Yeah.
they have to do more. West Ham looked really, really good in that 4-0 win. Sebastian Haller looked like a brand new player. Pablo Fornals looked like a brand new player. Basically, everyone looked like a brand new player, which was bound to happen under a new manager.
Yeah.
They looked more energized. But even then, they looked little defensively weak, which has been the case a lot for West Ham this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Although Lucas Fabianski's return will give them a much needed boost. So yeah, Sheffield United on the other hand, they're brilliant. What more do I really need to say?
Yeah.
Everything that has been said about them, and you can still go on. Chris Wilder and his men have been brilliant. They are looking for reinforcements in this winter window, which might make them even more formidable. But yeah, I'm going for Sheffield United. This should be their game.
What's the score then? Sheffield United at home then? Yeah.
Sheffield United home, right? So I'm going 2-1. Actually, no,
2-1.
make that 2-0. Lundstrom clean sheet.
Oh yeah, you want some FPL points as well.
Of course, I want
Yeah,
some.
of course. Yeah, I think you explained it quite nicely. Uh, the thing with Sheffield, I think that they needed this game, especially the league. Their last two games was away to Man City. The
Yeah.
last two league games was away to Man City
Yeah.
and away to Liverpool. They struggled a bit in the Liverpool game, and they needed a break from like league football. They have been playing. Every team has been playing a lot of league football.
Yeah.
But having to play Liverpool away and City away in such a quick succession is not an easy thing to do.
Naturally.
But I think this is the game where they will like flex their muscles, having a good break from after the FA Cup game. So I think this is a game they should win, even if West Ham has a new manager bounce. I don't think any bounce will stop Sheffield United from winning this game.
Yeah.
I don't think Leicester will have his FPL points though. He might assist a goal though. So 3-1 for
Oof,
Sheffield United.
damn it, let's
And
go.
Saturday lunchtime kickoff, Arsenal are playing away to Crystal Palace.
Yes, the
Looks
great
like a
Roy
good,
Hodgson.
looks like a tricky one this for Arsenal.
Yes, yes, very tricky.
Yeah,
Before I start, let's see what your thoughts are. Former Liverpool manager taking on Mikel Arteta, a
yeah.
former Everton man.
Format on that's quite a good string you just
Yeah,
created there. So yeah, I think Roy Hodgson's men have been doing a good job. I think they're punching above their weights to some extent. They're ninth in the table, 28 points, which is quite decent from 21 games. At home, although it's quite strange though their away form is still better than home form. And this is the start of last season. It's been the case,
yeah,
but Arsenal have generally struggled at Selhurst Park in the last 2 to 3 seasons. But this is new Arsenal for me, so I expect Arteta's men to do better than what Unai Emery's or Freddie Ljungberg's or the later version of Arsene Wenger's team have been doing.
okay.
So I expect Arsenal to win this by a narrow margin of 2-1. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, as you said, Palace have looked good, but at the same time, for me, they've looked a little shaky over the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah,
They've won just the one in the Premier League alone, that is. And if you take all competitions into consideration, they lost to Derby County, of all teams in the FA Cup. Derby, as we know, or
yeah,
for many who don't know, haven't done too well in the Championship.
yeah,
Azgan, tell us their position.
yeah. I think they're low mid table. Exact position I don't know, but they're
Are they
lower
around
mid table.
17th, 18th?
No, I think they are above 15th. Let's see
Okay.
only. Let's check it out
Yeah,
then.
yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, take it on.
Yeah, I think that they're below 12 because I saw them in the last. Yeah, there we go. They are 17th. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right about it.
so
Yeah,
that's not a good place.
yeah,
And yeah, it shows that the Palace need a lot of work to do. And
yeah.
with transfer rumors saying they've rejected a move from Bayern Munich for Wilfried Zaha, that just
I
makes
don't believe
Zaha,
that. Yeah,
yeah, even I don't believe that.
yeah,
It's just ridiculous. But yeah, it makes Zaha, if it's true, it makes Zaha a little unhappy with his future, let's say. So yeah, that might cause a few problems. But yeah, I'm still going an Arsenal win, 2-0, another clean sheet.
Oh, that's good. Arsenal have been keeping clean sheets in the
Yeah,
past few games. Everton versus Brighton. I think a slightly downbeat Everton after that
yeah,
defeat in
after
the
that.
FA Cup against slightly confusing Brighton in the last few weeks to me. Yeah, what do you
Yeah,
think?
very confusing, Brighton. They've looked okay. One win in their last five, a couple of losses, a couple of losses, and it really has looked good for Brighton. Their build-up play, their play, everything on the football on the field has looked good, attractive. They've scored a couple of goals here and there, but they need to do more. They need to grind out results because that's what any team that needs to survive in the Premier League has to do. And yeah, as you said, Everton A, their first team with Sigurdsson, Theo Walcott, Morgan Schneiderlin, and everyone else, and Jordan Pickford, I believe. Did Pickford start?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and Pickford. They look terrible in that FA Cup win, FA Cup loss to Liverpool.
yeah,
Although it did take a Curtis Jones stunner to seal the win, it was still
mm,
a terrible, terrible looking
yeah,
Everton.
yeah,
And we already spoke about the fan problems and
yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, they need something, and I actually see them getting something out of this game because Goodison Park is a rowdy stadium, and
Hmm.
this Everton side they need to keep the fans happy. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm going for a 2-1 Everton win.
yeah. I think I'll stick with Everton victory, but I don't think Everton are going to play that well. I think it's going to be kind of a frustrating game because I think Brighton would also like to respond. As you said, their form in the
Yeah,
last five
yeah,
to six games haven't been that good, even though their football has looked good on
exactly.
if you watch their football, it's like, oh, they're playing good football, but somehow they're not able to finish those moves, and sometimes they concede goals quite cheaply, which you say, oh,
Yeah,
okay, they've just conceded a goal, so it doesn't have a good bearing on this season, or they're still mid-table, lower mid-table. They're still safe for those 4 points ahead of the relegation zone,
yeah,
but they have to start picking up points sooner rather than later. So I would say I think Everton might keep a clean sheet here. It would be like slightly a boring 1-0 for Everton. Yeah, that might
okay,
be the
okay.
case. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the next game is the repeat of the 9-0, and we all know what 9-0 represents this season, and it's
yep,
Leicester versus
yep,
Southampton.
yes, and this time it's at
So,
the King Power. So yeah,
so do you think Southampton is going to score 9 away from home?
that's a big, big call. But no, I do not see them scoring nine away.
Yeah,
But I do not see Leicester scoring 9 goals at home
yeah,
either. Because
yeah,
Southampton have looked good since that loss. They've played 11 games. They've conceded only 13 goals, which is stunning. They
Which is
slowly moved.
ironic. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
They slowly moved out of the relegation zone.
yeah,
But Leicester City look a little shaky, as we mentioned. Jamie
yeah.
Vardy, James Maddison, all their big men are. Maybe they're tiring. Maybe it's a December fixture list. We
Mhm.
never know. But yeah, they need to change a few things. They are in trouble. Vardy has struggled over the last few weeks. Injuries, a new baby on the way. Everything
Yeah.
has played its part. So yeah, maybe this could be the return of the Leicester, or maybe this could be Southampton pulling off a major upset. Either way, I'm going for a Southampton win 2-1 with Jamie Vardy scoring for the FPL.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think the way Southampton have been playing, Leicester might not be bad opponents for them. I think Leicester are slightly in a position, as you mentioned, half of them look tired, half of them look like. I think one or two players looks like okay, the season is over.
Yeah,
It's gone to that way. I think the amount of games they have played, even though they don't have European football, they are playing league football. But it's yeah, rotation sometimes is necessary for this, and I don't think they have a squad depth as well to rotate. So
yeah,
this might be a game they stumble. I don't think they will lose though. Might be 1-1. Yeah, but Southampton. I don't see Southampton losing with the way they are
fair,
playing in the
fair,
last games. Yeah,
completely fair.
yeah. And next up is Manchester United against Norwich City. It's at Old Trafford. Yeah. And the tickets still available for that game, which is quite surprising. Which is not quite surprising from the brand Manchester United have, but not surprising to the style of football
Yeah,
they are playing. So
it's been a miserable couple of weeks, hasn't it, for a
yeah,
Manchester United fan? Yeah,
what do
but
you think then? Do you think about the result? Norwich City away from home?
oh, this is a tough one to call. But United are in problems. They have no midfield. Pogba is out injured. Eight midfielders out. Eight men in total out injured, including Pogba, McTominay, and Luke Shaw is about 75% fit, which
Yeah,
again may not mean he starts. Then there's the Ashley Young saga, as we all witnessed today.
yeah.
He's going, he's coming, he's going, he's staying. It's mad.
It's
There's
mad. Yeah,
madness there, and their midfield is basically non-existent.
yeah,
It's not like Norwich City are in a much better shape. 6 injuries, rock bottom at the Premier League,
yeah.
no wins in the Premier League since the 23rd of November.
That's big.
That is massive. 4 draws
Yeah.
and 4 losses.
Mm-hmm.
It's not been a good time for Norwich. Maybe, and Timu Puki's out injured, so again, it means Daniel Farke will have to do something creative. Oh, I see this going a dull game. Even though Norwich are a very exciting game,
Mm-hmm.
very exciting team to watch, I see this going very dull. I'm going to 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the way Norwich defend, I think this is Norwich might be perfect opponents for Manchester United because Norwich are one of those non-typical lower ranked teams who like to open up and play,
yeah,
irrespective of they're playing home or away. So this might be a game where Manchester United's only tactic, which is called counter-attacking football, might come to fruition and they might score a few goals. Not many though, but I think they're still it might not be dull from Manchester United's point of view, and because it's down to Norwich not trying to make it dull.
exactly,
So
exactly.
it might be United winning it 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the other game? There we
Chelsea
go.
Burnley.
Chelsea versus Burnley.
Yeah,
Chelsea at home to lower ranked team. I don't believe them again. They've been a lot. The last two games at home to lower ranked teams haven't gone their way. What do you think?
yeah. Oof. Why don't you take this one? This is Chelsea after all.
Yeah, but Burnley have been in problem as well, as we say. I think Burnley their home form in the last few games they have done well in the last few away games, but their home form have been terrible. Their form in general has been terrible since the
Yeah,
start of December. They lost their last three league games straight, and which doesn't sound very good. And they're still decent enough though, 4 points ahead of the relegation.
yeah.
But this is, I think, as if I remember correctly, it was Chelsea 2, Burnley 2 in last season, corresponding fixture at
Yeah,
Stamford
yeah,
Bridge. Yeah,
yeah,
and Burnley played well. I think Chelsea at home struggled a bit. They have been struggling a bit against lower ranked teams,
yeah.
and were not able to like break down lower block teams. So this might be a draw for me again, 1-1.
Yeah, as you said, Chelsea has struggled badly at home.
Yeah,
They're 14th in the home table, which is 10 games played, 4 losses, 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws, which is bad given it's Stamford
yeah,
Bridge.
yeah.
Burnley, on the other hand, haven't been really good. As Miskan said, three consecutive 3 consecutive losses. But if you go back even further, 10 games, it's been 6 losses, 3 wins,
And a draw.
2 wins and a draw.
2 wins.
2 wins and a couple of draws, which is not really good for Burnley.
Not good. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't see them getting relegated this season, but
Yeah.
they might just survive it just there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going the same score, 1-1.
Yeah. Next up is Wolves versus
Newcastle.
struggling Newcastle.
Yeah.
Newcastle were doing well till December, but now they are
Yeah.
struggling a bit. Wolves at home. What do you think? Straightforward?
It should be, because for the first time, Wolves have a decent list of fixtures. They're back home. They've been
Yeah.
really good they've been good at home. If not, okay, yeah. Last season their away form was really good. This season their home form has been good,
A bit good.
which is they've taken advantage of that because the European fixtures have taken a toll on them naturally. So they've taken advantage of the home fixtures. But yeah, they look good at home. Newcastle look bad. They can't score. Newcastle can't score goals to save their lives.
Yeah.
And now with injuries piling up, with everything piling up for Steve Bruce, this might be his game. If he gets something out of this, it will be massive for Newcastle. But yeah, I don't see them doing anything at Molineux. This is all Wolves, 2-0 for me.
Yeah, as you mentioned about Steve Bruce and Newcastle, they have lost 4 of the last 5 games, and the damning thing is they have been losing games at home as well, which is not a very good sign. And Wolves, as you mentioned, at home form very good. They have been using that, even though European games have taken toll. But I think the way they have been playing in Europe at home this season, I think helped them in league games as well, playing at home this season. So they're 7th at the table. They are 6 points behind 4th place Chelsea.
Yeah.
So imagine if Chelsea drop points this weekend and Wolves win, the gap
It's a
will
chance
cut
of them
down
to close.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
And I believe that Wolves will win this game by same scoreline as you mentioned, 2-0.
Yeah.
I think Wolves will keep a clean sheet.
And just how good they've been at home, they've 10 games again, 4
Yeah.
wins, 4 draws, 2 losses.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
It's a record Chelsea would kill for. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and the late fixture on Saturday, 5:30.
Is the game of
It's
the
the
day.
big game of the day, game of the weekend. Spurs versus Liverpool. It might not be game of the season though, but still, yeah,
Yeah, it may not have any impact on
yeah,
the season at all, given
yeah,
Liverpool's steam-rolling form. But yeah, Misgan, resident Liverpool fan, what do you
yeah.
say?
I think Spurs and Liverpool in the past few years when Pochettino and Klopp were there, it always appealed that it would be a good game. It would be
Yeah.
high scoring. It would be open. But I think Mourinho and his defensive problems, and now his added problem that Harry Kane is not there, I think he will just shut up shop, even though he will be at home. I think Spurs fans will not complain as well. I listened to some of the Spurs people talking about their open defense, and one of the guys was in the Sky Sports as well, talking about their defense like a bagel, quite empty in between. So this is one of those things. And if Mourinho shuts up shop, just parks the bus, plays a 6-3-1 formation with Son up top, I think it will be like that. It might just be a game where they play on the break and Liverpool have more possession. But I think Liverpool. They haven't dropped points since October, I believe. They last they dropped points, and I think they. I'm being a supporter. I cannot go against them, even though I believe Mourinho will have something in his locker to at least not lose this game. But I think Liverpool will win this 2-1. What do you think?
Yeah, as you said, Mourinho will have something in his locker because also, as he said, the last time Liverpool dropped points was somewhere in October to
Yeah.
Manchester United. Who was the pundit at that game?
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho.
Jose.
And he correctly, he analyzed exactly what United did to a T perfection. And yeah, it might just be his game plan. It may not be. We never know. He could just go all-out attack and literally pin Liverpool inside their box, although that's never going to happen. But yeah, they're playing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so that just might help. And yeah, I see him going defensive, playing not just Son, but Lucas Moura as well, using their speed on the counter, which naturally they need to do. And yeah, but is this Tottenham's chance to bring one back? Because they haven't won a game in this fixture since October 2017.
Yeah.
It's all been Liverpool, 3 wins and a draw. So yeah, but still, this Liverpool side is really hard to ignore. They've been brilliant. It's scary at times. 19 wins, 1 draw, 37 games. if you look at it this way, if the season ends tomorrow, forget that. If the season ends right this moment, Liverpool have won it by 9 points. More than
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They,
Without financially overperforming any team. Yeah,
yes, without financially overperforming. They've 101 to 92 points with Manchester City, the latter figure. It's ridiculous because that's no figure any team in the world should reach. And they still have 20 odd games to go. It's a long, sorry, 18 odd games to go. It's a long,
yeah.
long season ahead. And it should be fun. But yeah, I'm going for Liverpool 2-0.
2-0. That's good.
Yeah.
Sunday's games now, two of them. Bournemouth versus Watford.
Yeah.
Struggling Bournemouth, but they got a win in the FA Cup against Watford, who bottled a 3-goal lead. But they have been good in the league, though, the last
Yeah.
3 to 4 games under
Yeah.
Pearson. So, what do you think? Bournemouth at home?
Bournemouth, oof. Bournemouth have been really good. Not this season; they've been terrible this season. But no, in the past, they're counter-attacking. Their defense has never been their strong point. Their strong point has been their offensive capabilities. Eddie Howe has managed to soak everything, squeeze everything he can out of Callum Wilson, Josh King, Ryan
Yeah.
Fraser, and company. But this season, they've looked like they look bad. Wilson went on a streak at the start of the season, but since then nothing. Josh King has looked a shadow of himself. Ryan Fraser has been warming the bench more often than not. And it's played for Bournemouth 8 games. They've got four points, one win. It's not been good.
It's
Watford on
not
the
good.
other
Yeah.
hand, yeah, exactly. Watford on the other hand are climbing up. They've won what last eight games they won 13 points. That puts them about what 19th, leaving Norwich rock bottom. And this is a run that I actually see going because Watford have got a good team. They don't have a great team. They've got a couple of good offensive players, a couple of good midfielders, and a couple of good defenders, which in the end is all the difference it needs to make. And I see them surviving this season. But still, this game I'm going for a 2-1 win to Watford.
Yeah, you're right about both the teams, and Bournemouth. I think Eddie Howe wanted to solidify the defense this season, and he has done to that to some extent. They have considered 32 goals from 21 games, which by their standards, by leaky standards, is not. It's much better than compared to last season. I think that has taken away from some of their attacking play, and now they're really struggling to score goals. And as a result of that, even if they concede once or twice in a game, they're losing games and not even able to draw games as well. And that might be a problem against Watford as well. As you said, Watford are good attacking players, and somehow Pearson has brought some kind of structure in the team. And it's a 6-pointer game as you see the table. Bournemouth 18th in the table with 20 points. Watford 19th in the table with 19 points.
Right?
Yeah. So it's just a 1-point difference. If Watford win, they might they might be out of the black zone. So you just never know, because Aston Villa play Man City. We'll discuss this in next up. So they might lose. Aston Villa 17th. So it's very tight out there. And Watford's form, as you said, they might just stay up again.
Exactly.
And I believe this is the game. If prediction comes in play, Watford will win this. I think it will be more comfortable. Bournemouth at home has struggled a bit. I think this is the game where Bournemouth will try to attack. They want goals because they are in that predicament, and Watford will pick them off on the counter. So 3-1 Watford to me.
That's going big. Nice.
And the last game of the weekend, Aston Villa at home to Manchester City.
Liverpool fan, what do you say? City
yeah, I might go there if I somehow get a ticket. There's a chance I get a ticket. I might go there and shout my heart out at the whole tent, though, and shout out Jack Grealish for some assists and goals. He's in my FPL team as well, so there will be two good things to look forward to. But I don't think it's going to happen. Aguero's record against Aston Villa previous to their promotion season was very good as well. City's record against Aston Villa generally have been quite good. Aston Villa, even though they have Darren Winks back, they don't have Wesley up front. They don't have a good keeper who could make 6 to 7 saves. Although if Nayland has a good day, he can provide that spark in goal. But I don't think, because City now are in a situation where they are in a less pressure situation. I think they know the title is pretty much gone. Pretty much gone. So they are in a less pressure situation. So they might end up playing well now in this period of play, building up to their Champions League tie against Real Madrid. So I think City might just open Villa up quite a number of times on Sunday. So 4-1 to me, Manchester City.
Oof, you're going all out destruction, aren't you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be
Yeah.
all out.
Yeah, as you said, City dominates, and plus they have players coming back. Laporte's on his way back, Stones is on his way back. Aguero and Jesus are both been back for a while.
Yeah.
Villa, on the other hand, haven't been good, but they haven't been bad either. They've
Yeah.
got three wins in their last 10, 6 losses and a draw, which okay, it's terrible, but it's survivable points. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
what. That's about 9-10 points, which is not that bad from 10 games.
Yeah.
And the performance against Leicester in the Carabao Cup first leg semi-final, it showed that they have something more, maybe a little resilience in them, and some defense. Plus Tyrone Mings is back, as you mentioned, and we mentioned earlier. And Jack Grealish is on form. They have a couple of other key players looking bright, if nothing else. And yeah, speed on the counter might just help them, but I don't see this going any other way but City's. So yeah, I'm not going for a 4-0. I'm going for a 3-0.
3-0. Yeah, I think it would be a big scoreline. Yep, that's the Premier League fixtures preview done. Anything else to add?
No, nothing else. Just
Yeah.
that's about it.
All right then. Thank you guys for listening to this, and make sure you subscribe, make sure you like it, put your comments below. Put your predictions below. If you get a couple of them right, we might shout you out next week in the next podcast, and hopefully Shamat is back from his break.
From his break, yes.
Yeah, some sort of break is going to, so let's see. Let's hope he comes back.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot then, Siddhant.
Yep. Bye,
We'll see you next week. Bye. Goodbye. Thanks a lot.